Welcome, Phoenixes. It is Wednesday, and that means it is our live Wednesday show, the Q&A AMA for Life After Tech, or as we say, Your Life After Tech, based on the Life After Tech book. I'm Debbie Levitt, and I'm here to open discussions and talk about anything that's on your mind related to life during or after tech, careers, career decisions, what's going on in the job market, what are we going to do next, what happens if it doesn't turn around. Let's talk about it. So I've got a few topics queued up for today, but if you'd like to ask a question, you can drop it in the chat. It will come up on the screen with your name over here, or you can ask it anonymously at lat.link/Q, the thing above my head, and that will come into my email, and it's completely anonymous. You can ask any question you like, and that way I can answer it here. I am cold. It is cold in my house. I hope my hat is not bothering you. And so I'm going to jump right in with some of the topics that I have queued up for today while I wait for any questions that you might have. Okay, let's do some copy paste. Also, let me check quickly that we are live. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. It says live on LinkedIn. That's a good sign. LinkedIn loves to end my streams at the drop of a small pin. All right. So let's start with the first topic I wanted to bring up. And again, if you have a question, we will put my topics aside for your questions. But I wanted to start with this. And I think about a lot of tech workers, especially those of us who might be from my other communities, people involved in CX, UX, product management, engineering. And I think about how many of us are so hungry in our jobs to be strategic and smart and planning things out. And I've been thinking about how I feel like some people have not been doing that lately for their own careers. I think for so many of us, things were going so well and we were sailing straight through. We were able to find jobs. We were able to get jobs. And we didn't think about what would happen next, or do we need to plan side work or a non-tech business or a non-tech job. And then all of a sudden we've had all of these waves and waves of layoffs. And I find that many people are still resistant to looking at what's next. We're often thinking, oh, well, this too shall pass, and maybe it'll turn around next year, and maybe if we lower some interest rates, this will be fine, and things like that. And I'm worried, okay, that sounds good, but what if it doesn't turn around? I'm worried about that. So I like to ask the tough question, and if you're in the audience, maybe give me your answer, because I think it's a little bit of tough love. We're supposed to be smart, critical thinkers. Many of us are problem finders, problem solvers. Why do we have so much trouble seeing realities right in front of us? Hey, Shweta. If we're strategic and if we're planners, why do we avoid being strategic or planners for ourselves? And I think it's interesting how many people still seem to be in some form of denial about the layoffs, about the state of jobs, about the future of jobs. Yes, it's always possible that this could completely turn around, that all of these companies are just going to hire us right back and we'll say it was all just a bad dream. Oh, but what if that doesn't happen? What if it isn't just a bad dream? What are we going to do? You don't necessarily have to act on it right now, but if we are smart and strategic, what is that plan? And today on LinkedIn, someone rightly pointed out that many people are too burnt out to think about the plan. They're already struggling with mental health because of a bad current job or a bad former job. And I say, I get it. I'm in school right now to help people with life coaching and personal development. So I understand that people are not in the best state. But I also worry that if we wait until we feel amazing to do any planning or taking action, when does this happen? And will our mental health continue to get worse if we're not doing some sort of planning or taking action? So certainly I want people to recover from burnout. I want them to improve their mental health, but I'm nervous that if people wait too long, they're going to see the opposite of improvement. They're going to see things getting worse out of, yeah, hey, Melanie, I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah. And there are a lot of options. We just have to be open to them. And I think the biggest blocking point for a lot of people is the pay. Am I right? I'm happy to be wrong. I think that a big blocker for many people is the pay. They say, look, some of these other non-tech jobs sound interesting, or like something I could just do just to put money in my pocket, but $30 an hour when I'm used to a tech job that paid me X tens of thousands or X hundreds of thousands or X lakh or X whatever it is. And my thought is, hey, I'm seeing this wild stuff out there where there are high-level UX jobs that are paying very low amounts of money compared to what we used to make, compared to your average fast food worker. Okay, maybe tech still pays more, or maybe some of these other things pay more, but I'm surprised at how little many tech jobs are now paying. I think we talked either last week or we had a LinkedIn post about I turned down a job that wanted to pay me $40 an hour W-2, which means I would have put about $22 an hour in my pocket after taxes. And I never had the biggest tech salaries out there, but that is a noticeable drop. Ana Lucia says, it's a coping mechanism, usually something related to anxiety. Unfortunately, I don't have good news about it. The only solution is to face our anxiety mechanisms and try to rationalize. I feel similarly. I think we have to just kind of push through. And okay, maybe some of it is just survival mode. Maybe we don't feel particularly at the top of any pyramids. That's fine. It's not a contest. As I say in my book, the Maslow pyramid's a little bit wacky. We're at multiple levels of that pyramid at the same time. So Shweta says, I think it's also finding another reliable job that keeps up with the cost of living. Yeah, which is very hard in many places. Many jobs do not keep up with the cost of living. Melanie says, I'm too old and tired to work multiple part-time jobs. Maybe. I don't want to poke you too hard because I genuinely like you, but do you have a choice? I mean, I feel like that might be where I end up. I might end up with multiple part-time jobs glued together. I'm only a couple of years younger than you, I think. Tired, sure. Anxiety, sure. Mental health, yes. These are all factors. But I wonder, and this is obviously just the flip side of a coin, I wonder if multiple part-time jobs is going to feel fun to me, that I'm going to be doing different things at different times of the week or the month. Like right now, there's a startup thinking of hiring me for tech work, unknown. I may or may not get it. I hope to get it. And I've suggested that I work for them 25 to 30 hours a week. Maybe I'll get that. Again, would like to get it. Seem like nice people with a nice project, with a startup that I think actually has legs. But then what else would I do? Well, I'm doing other stuff. And I think some people know about that from reading my book. I've gone back to coaching school, so I'm doing coaching, deltacx.coach. Shweta says, maybe I'd like to be a professor or a teacher, but what could I teach? UX? Why not? You have many years in it. You have at least 10 years in it by now. You have a very strong background working for well-known companies. Yeah, Melanie says, depends on the jobs, of course. Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't want to work 8 hours a day in a grocery store and then have to work some sort of night job for 4 to 6 hours. This is just going to burn too many candles at too many ends. But we have recently decided, my husband and I being we, not the royal we, my husband and I recently decided that we are going to go for it, and we are going to open a karaoke DJ business. Why not? It costs us very little to get started because we already had a bunch of equipment. Some of you know that I ran the karaoke show at my own wedding because we couldn't find a karaoke DJ. And a few weeks ago, we karaoke DJ'd a family party because they remembered how fun our wedding was and they wanted us to run a show. We didn't get paid for that, but afterwards they were like, we would hire you again and we would probably pay you. So yay. Yeah. So we have started a little adventure, and I said, why don't we throw a karaoke party at our house later this month, kind of between Christmas and New Year's, and we'll invite everybody from the village, not everybody, but many people from the village, and we'll let them know we have this business and they'll have a fun karaoke party at our house. So my husband went into the village, we made little invitations, and he happened to run into his cousin who, I don't know the English word for this, but he kind of works, he's like on the board for village events. It's the pro loco, which I think we actually also say in English, the pro loco. Anyway, loco being Italian, Latin for place, and pro being for. We're for the place. Anyway, cousin Marco was like, wait, a karaoke party on December 28th? Any chance you'd like to hold that in the piazza? And we're like, and my husband was like, tell me more. So it turns out that the exact date and time that we wanted to hold our karaoke party is when our village is holding its children's Christmas party in the main square. They're getting a Santa and Santa's house, and they're getting a bouncy castle, or what do you call the inflatable jumping thing? And yeah, Melody, believe me, I have literally thought about you for that more than once. So anyway, long story short, we're going to be holding a karaoke show in our village square on the 28th of December in a few weeks. So we decided to invest a little bit more in equipment, but we will start this business for less than $1,000, which I think in the scheme of things is not bad. But it's also because we already owned a lot of equipment, especially me. I own a ridiculous amount of equipment. And I also happen to have people say, oh, Debbie's a UX researcher. What kind of work can she do with UX research skills? Hold that beer, because I also happen to have music skills from the career and life I had before I worked in UX. I worked in the music business. I worked in recording studios. I have a sound engineering certificate. I am a classically trained singer. So I'm kind of a good person to run a karaoke party with my husband. So Melanie says, if you want a caretaker for your campground, cough, cough. So we haven't put the proposal into the campground yet. If I think that I can hire you to work at the campground, I will. But if you want to live here, you better learn some Italian, because I'm telling you, almost nobody speaks English here. The tourists will speak some English because the tourists are mostly German, Dutch, British. But if you want to live here day to day, you really need to know Italian. So Melanie, learn your Italian, and I'll see what we can do if we can get this approved. Because so far the town has told us this is a total gray area. We don't know what to do until we see a proposal from you. There's nothing in our document that says you can't use the land for this, and there's nothing in our document that says this is an approved use of the land. It's just, you're going to have to just propose it to us, and we're going to have to make a decision on it. So we're thinking about that now. Yesterday in Gaming says, love this topic, and I've been thinking about this for a while now. The fact that UX and CX folks tend to want to join companies and see success as a validation in form of a title at a big company. Possibly something to do with these kinds of folks feeling that pleasing others is some measure of success and is somewhat related to measuring those intangible ROIs. Definitely. I think for many of us, the titles have been exciting. The putting the company names on our resume has been exciting because why not? That's why everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm ex Google, I'm ex whatever. We love those titles. We love those names. We love that stuff. I don't know why my phone thinks I'm talking to Google. Not talking to you, Google. But I think we also liked the pay, especially for many of us working in North America. The pay in tech has been great. The pay in other places has been better than other jobs. And so it's still been afforded people a better life than they would have had otherwise. I think people are probably more tied to some of the money, and the titles are secondary, but definitely on the list. Melanie says, I know some Italian and French and German. Good. Believe me, if I can be allowed to hire you, I will. We will talk about that some other day. First, I need approval for this to exist. Then I can figure out if I'm allowed to hire someone and bring them in on a work visa. On the list. And you have to be ready to rake and cut grass and clean toilets, because that's what we're going to be doing. So, not so glamorous. But it'll be peaceful. I can promise you that. Yesterday in Gaming says, like you said, why not use the same design thinking for our own careers? It's hard to let go of those shiny treasures, title, pay, status. It's all risk and reward. Yeah, I'm not into design thinking, as many of you know, but again, my book takes this approach. It's about way more than skills. It's about core personal qualities. Who are you at your core? And I think it's safe to say I'm an entertainer. I didn't put that in the book, but if you think about the idea of a karaoke business, I think it matches my core personal qualities, and it happens to match some skills that I have, since I happen to know sound engineering, and so I understand mixers and cables and effects and all that other stuff. And then I happen to own a lot of that equipment because of my previous life in those worlds. Ana Lucia says, actually, I was in a workshop a few days ago and many of the participants were like, I don't get why people use this as headlines. Ex-employees, not current, like the ex-Google. Shweta says they do it for recruiters. Yeah, I mean, it seems a little funny. Like, I don't want to be like, hi, I'm Debbie. I'm the ex-wife of so-and-so. I wouldn't introduce myself that way. But I know that in many cases, companies want to see you've worked for famous names. I think the ex-Google or ex-whatever looks especially weird if you're at a company now that you wouldn't proudly later say X something. Sorry, this is my scarf and I need to warm up a little bit. Oh, cold winters. Not that cold. I shouldn't complain. But yeah, cool winters. Yeah, so I get it. X whatever. But hey. Okay, I've got a new topic and I don't think we've gotten any questions, but let me check anonymous questions. I've got an email introducing the new Axure Cloud, which I guess I'll care about some other day, but I have to laugh because I'm the person who told Axure to register Axure.cloud. That's because I'm nice. I didn't buy it and then sell it back to them. Shweta says, I'm from an Asian country and jobs are seen as a symbol of status. It's a different world out here where mostly only white-collar jobs are considered respectable and pay well. Yes, very cultural. Yesterday in Gaming says, I feel like we're also living in an environment where potential employees are expected to fight against each other for roles. The big companies push scarcity mindset. Maybe that's just human nature. Yeah, sounds a little tribal or something like that. Let's put up another topic I wanted to talk about. If you have a question or a topic you want to talk about, drop it at lat.link/Q if you want it to be anonymous, or drop it here in the chat where it'll show up on the screen. I would like to now talk about Sometimes you see posts on LinkedIn. By the way, I'm spending less time on LinkedIn lately, and it is so nice. Yay! I've been trying Blue Sky a little bit more, just as a place to say stuff and not be stuck in algorithm hell. Yeah, Ana Lucia says, I wish employers would fight for potential employees instead. Yes, I do not want to fight each of you for stuff, but it does feel like that sometimes. So, yeah, just clearing out some phone notifications, making sure I didn't miss an email. So I'd like to talk about, once in a while, or more than once in a while, you see a post on LinkedIn saying, hey, the job market is getting better. It's turning around. Hey, everybody, stay positive. That next job is just around the corner. The job market is looking good and turning around. And my question to you is it? Do you see any evidence that the job market is improving or turning around? I know that feels like a good thing we want to say to each other, and it feels good to hear, but I don't think we should say it if it's not true. Oh, I like that. Yesterday in Gaming says, can we put in our title X LinkedIn user, X toxic corporate, etc.? Yeah, I've seen a couple of people on LinkedIn do that, partially for comedy. I don't know if it ends up working out in your favor or helping you get a job or not, but it certainly wins for the comedy. Yeah, so I know we're about 40 seconds delayed, so I'm curious if anybody feels like they're seeing any signs that the job market is getting better. I also know that labor bureau or government numbers on jobs can be very misleading. For example, they don't take into account usually they don't take into account contractors and freelancers. They're just looking at full-time jobs. And they might say, oh, we opened up X new jobs this quarter, but they don't take a look at how many people they laid off and then reopened those jobs at a lower price. So people act like there is some sort of decrease in the joblessness, but I'm not sure that's true. Ana Lucia says, I don't know if the job market is turning around or not with all the ghost jobs and ghost companies and ghost thingamajig. Yeah, it does seem a very ghosty world right now, where it's hard to know what reality even is, because people will say, look at all these open jobs. Everybody go get these jobs. Ooh, famous company X is opening jobs and so on. But then if you scroll back in your LinkedIn enough, you'll see the person who got laid off at that company. So, you know, I always wonder, like, cool, okay, you've opened up some researcher and designer jobs. Who did you lay off to open these jobs? Are these so-and-so's jobs just now being offered at lower pay? In some cases, that's what's happening. And now that's tough. That just adds to mental health struggles, if you ask me. It's like, oh, wow, someone lost this job to open up the job for me to possibly have the job. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Let's just be karaoke DJs. Hands up. Emojis up. Who wants to be a karaoke DJ and join in with us? Why not both? Oh, I don't know whether to hire a resume writer or a Ghostbuster. Yeah, the Ghostbusters aren't real. And the resume writers, I'm not sure if, excuse me. Oh, I'm so lucky. I haven't had my start of winter cold this year. Yay, I missed it. When I think about the resume writers, I often worry that they're overpaid for what they're doing. You know, what is their track record? And how recent is that track record? And so I worry about the resume writers, because these are hundreds of dollars and sometimes more for what? I did a podcast with someone, and I don't think he ever sent it live because it was his show, but we did a podcast where we had AI rewrite my resume. And then that was the resume that I sent out for actually a few months. And I felt like it didn't help. So I recently changed my resume again to be a little closer to what I had before the AI made some changes to it. But there were many changes the AI suggested that I never took. So I never completely AI'd my resume. I took some of its advice and discarded others. But now I'm just working with one that's less of what the AI had written for me, which was a lot of, long sentences with a lot of keywords in it. Okay. I don't know if that matters. So, yeah, we need the Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call? Yeah, so is the job market getting better? I think, as I said in my book, if it's not getting better for you, it's not getting better. Luckily, some people in our Life After Tech community have been interviewing for jobs. They've been getting jobs. I'm very excited and proud, excited for them and proud of them. This is a great thing. Obviously, you don't have to leave tech to read the book or be part of our community. We want people to succeed in whatever they're trying to do, inside or outside of tech. So that's been a beautiful thing to see some people getting some interviews and getting some jobs. And then there's the rest of us in the community still trying to find our way, me included. Ana Lucia says, I liked most of Claude's suggestions when I asked it how to rewrite some things for my resume. Yeah, maybe that's something I'll try. I don't think I used Claude because the guy who was running the podcast, it was an AI podcast, and he wanted to show how AI could help you with your resume. But he used ChatGPT, and this was maybe 6 months ago, and a lot of the things that ChatGPT suggested were just not true. It was making up not true stuff about my resume or my work or my accomplishments, and I was like, I'm not gonna say that. Yesterday in Gaming says, in my own circle, a lot of people are unemployed or are feeling disenchanted with their jobs. I've heard of many, many layoffs. Oh yeah, join the club. That's why I wrote the book and why I'm trying to continue to get the book out there. It's $18 and I really hope it'll help people. It'll help them feel not so alone. It'll help them start to dream what could be next for them. I'm even trying some of the things that I said in the book I wasn't going to try. I've kind of had this feeling lately of why not? If I can try some of these things for very little money, why not try them? Ana Lucia says, I hated ChatGPT. Yeah, I didn't have good experiences with it. It was completely bonkers, but Claude's quite reasonable, actually. Yeah, I've had a very good time with Claude in general. Claude was really helpful to me yesterday. He was so helpful. I said he. I say it. I actually asked Claude their pronouns, and they said it. So I'm going to try to remember Claude is in it. I asked Claude yesterday to help me in buying some music-related equipment for the karaoke business because it was a piece of equipment I'd never dealt with before, and I didn't understand they were using terms for it. It had to do with measurements, but they were these made-up units I'd never heard of before. I know these are very common for this type of equipment, but I'd never heard of these units before. And I went to Claude, and first I said, can you explain these units to me? And then I realized, wait a minute, Claude can do so much more than just explaining the units to me. I said, here's the piece of equipment I have. I'm trying to buy a case for it. What measurements am I looking for so I know I've got the right case for this piece of equipment? And Claude said, oh, you want at least a 3U15RA. And I was like, thank you. Because not knowing what I was doing, I had found an 8U12RA, and I thought, gee, that looks pretty good. Maybe that would work. And I emailed the company saying, hey, this is the equipment I have. Will this work with an 8U12RA? I still haven't heard back from the company. But guess what? We placed the order because Claude said, no, you need a 15RA. You can get as many U's as you want. Get at least 2 or 3 U's, letter U. But don't go less than 15RA. We're trusting Claude on this, and we placed an order for a piece of equipment. And I went for 8U, 15RA. And we'll see how that ends up. But if I had waited for the company to get back to me and advise me, I still wouldn't own the thing. So at least it's on its way to me now. Yesterday in Gaming says +1 to what Ana Lucia said. If you want better output, try Claude. It's the most fair and realistic if you want to improve anything written. Yeah, thanks. I'll make a note of that too. Have Claude do my resume maybe for the new year. Because I definitely don't want it to sound too AI, and I definitely don't want it to just be long strings of keywords, and I don't want it to be fake, which I found with the other guy who's using ChatGPT. Again, I've never had a good experience with ChatGPT, but I've had some good experiences with Claude, and I would say I'm starting to go to Claude more than I go to Google search for certain things. Yesterday in Gaming says, perfect example of how AI can gobble up so many customer service jobs apart from the people who handle direct complaints. Right. And I trust the company that I bought from, and if they had written me back and said, no, you need 15 RA, I would have been like, cool, thank you. I'm curious if they're going to write me back and go, yeah, 8U 12 RA sounds fine. Now that I've learned that it's not enough, because I have a 14 RA unit. Anyway, these letters still don't make a lot of sense to me, even though Claude has helped me get through it. But it was and it was so funny because I copied and pasted the description of the item from the website. I said, here's the description of the item. Will this fit my model? Blah, blah, blah. And Claude wrote, oh, this is funny. They wrote millimeters instead of centimeters. That would mean that this is the size of a matchbox, but obviously it's meant to be a case for a large piece of equipment, so I'm just going to assume this is centimeters. I'm like, Claude, you're killing me. And Claude was right. They had put millimeters instead of centimeters. Ana Lucia says, oh, don't worry, Claude can adapt. I had a really nice experience with it. I gave it a few of my texts and told it to rewrite my about me in my writing style in a certain structure. Yeah, I'll give it a try. Yeah, Claude is the only universe I've been having a good experience with. I've also had some good experiences with Fathom.video, but Fathom.video is using Anthropic's API, so they're using a cousin of Claude, not Claude exactly. When I asked the Fathom.video AI if it was Claude, it was very grumpy and was like, no, I'm not Claude. I'm a different model. And I was like, whoa, cool off, baby. Let's see. Yeah. So, is the job market getting better? Anybody have any thoughts or opinions on that? Or are you also seeing these posts out in the social world like, hey, the job market's getting better. Hold on. Stay positive. Yeah, I can't be the only one seeing these things, but... and just another reminder that I am trying to get hours for my coaching school. So my life coaching right now is heavily discounted. If anyone is interested, the first 2 sessions are free, and then the ones after that are super discounted because I need the hours more than asking people for money. So check it out at deltacx.coach. Is there any room for UX in the impact/NGO/government sector? All right, let's put this up as an interesting question. Yesterday in Gaming says, I don't think it's getting better. I'm seeing a lot of negativity around the future of the economy. Overall market is an all-time high. I feel that everybody's holding their breath. Yeah. Shweta says, it's not here. I've seen 3 roles go on hold. Yes, I've definitely seen a lot of posts from people who said, ooh, I was just offered this job or about to be offered this job, and then it went on hold and it disappeared. And I've been advising some people in my community who are going through interview processes, please do not give notice at your job until you are absolutely sure that this new job is happening and coming through and you've signed a contract and all of that stuff, because you don't want to find out later that you gave notice and then the job you're interviewing for went on hold or got canceled or changed in some way. So everybody, please be careful. Okay, so Shweta asks, is there any room for UX in impact NGO government sector? They don't advertise those jobs much. I've also been exploring energy, climate, and conservation. Yeah, I think in America, I'm hearing that there are a lot more government jobs in UX and CX. I don't remember where you're supposed to find these. I think there's a special website with some of these types of government jobs. So I'm sorry, I've got flat hat hair now, but so I'm sorry I don't know the right way to go about finding these, certainly not for America and not for any other particular country, but I think looking at government jobs can be a good way to go. Sometimes government jobs are more stable. I'm not sure about America, since there are rumors that when the next president starts next year, they plan to cut a huge amount of government jobs, claiming these are just wasteful and unnecessary, though I think the government always needs more workers. I don't know. Yesterday in Gaming says, I feel like everybody is waiting for something big to happen, whether it's good or bad. There needs to be some sort of closure with this situation. I'm not sure what that could be. Or perhaps it'll just happen slowly, and taking the approach you suggest of trying to pave your own path and not wait is the right answer, because it'll be a slow change and we won't know until later. Shweta says, open AI bankruptcy. Melanie says, in the U.S., yes, but possibly not for long with the upcoming administration. Yes, right. Usually government jobs were good and relatively stable and so on, but it sounds like the next administration would like to change that. Ana Lucia says, by the way, I'm just going to ask. LinkedIn was actually helpful these days and recommended me to add someone that had a ton of connections in common with me. This is interesting because it would mean this person is a therapist, but it said UXR. I looked into her profile and she was a speech and language therapist that pivoted in 2015 and has been working as a UX researcher since then. This is so interesting given my own professional journey. I'll be sending her a PM with a few questions. Do you have any ideas of things I could ask her? Yes, let's put that question up, even though it was a bit of a long lead in there. Hold on. First, let me get Shweta's question on the list, and then we'll get Ana Lucia's question. I'm having trouble copying and pasting. Give me a moment. This is the boring part of the show. Behold, Deb is copying and pasting. Hold on. Okay. Oh, Jen's here. Hey, Jen. Shweta says, I'd need U.S. citizenship for that, but sometimes governments have agencies hiring contractors. Yes, that is true. I also haven't been applying for U.S. government jobs because I don't live in that country anymore. Even though I am a citizen, I'm not physically located there, and many of these jobs are on-site and hybrid, so that's another consideration. Jen says there are UX roles in government contracting companies. USA Jobs is the site for jobs with government agencies, but there are also a lot of contractors. U.S. citizenship is often required. Yeah, totally agree. Thank you for that, Jen, and good to see you. And again, I probably would also say that living in America probably helps as well. I think Michelle Packran recently posted to LinkedIn some open job that required you to be in Maryland or somewhere near DC. Hi. All right, let's put Ana Lucia's question up and let's see what answer I have and maybe some answers that some of you have, because it's always audience participation show. So Ana Lucia found someone who has a similar career path and some connections in common and wanted to reach out. Yeah, I think the best thing you can do is not ask for anything. Just look to make that connection. Think of it as networking and just think about what you can ask that person or say to that person that just sounds like friendly and welcoming. hey, LinkedIn recommended that I connect with you because we have many people in common, and I looked at your work history and I was interested or excited to see that you had taken a similar path to me where you'd been a therapist and you've been working in UX research. And I've been trying to break into UX research, and I wonder if you have any tips. Yes, I'm asking for something, but I'm not asking this person to get me a job or fix my life or whatever. I usually don't mind those types of cold messages if people just write to me on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm trying to break into thing. Do you have any advice? I'll usually give them some free advice for whatever it's worth. But I don't like when people cold message me on email or on LinkedIn, which is where they tend to show up, and they say, hey, here's my resume. Can you recommend me for a job? Whoa, hold on. Who are you? No, I don't recommend strangers for jobs. Whoa, what is this? No. So yeah, I think I would just ask this person if they have any advice for you. Maybe keep it easy. Keep it broad. And that leaves it open for whatever they might want to say. Jen says, true. U.S. residence for X recent years is sometimes a requirement. Yep. Shweta says, oh, just for everyone, watch out for scams and ghost jobs. I've seen weird companies with 0 employees popping up on LinkedIn. Yes, everybody, please be careful of scams. The scams are coming harder and faster right now because they know so many of us are struggling or desperate or insert adjective here. And so they're messaging us on LinkedIn, they're messaging us on social media, and they're acting like, oh, we'd like to interview you or hire you or whatever. Unfortunately, many of these are scams. If you're not sure, track me down. Chances are you're in one of my communities. Find me. The Life After Tech community is free. Why not join it? It's a free Discord community, and it's got some activity. I'm happy that it's been growing. We have over 200 members now, and it's growing. So track me down, ask the question, ask it in something like our Discord community where you can get multiple people's opinions. Go for it. We've got a channel in our Life After Tech Discord called Need Help Questions, and that would be a great place to say, does this look like a scam? We also have a channel called Job Hunting. If it's a work-related scam, you could put it there. So, go ahead. Come. If you're not sure, don't assume that these things aren't scams and this must be real. Be suspicious. I think it would be healthy to be suspicious right now. Have to leave. Thanks so much. Okay, good night, Shweta. Thanks for coming. Ana Lucia says, oh no, I wouldn't be asking her for a job. I just thought it was so interesting. We have so much in common now. She's an example of what I want to become soon. You could say that to her. That's a friendly, nice thing to say. Yesterday in Gaming says, some of those ghost companies are actually just resume hunters, gathering data on people who are applying, seeing what their past is and what jobs they're applying for. And as always, data equals money. Yeah, I saw a LinkedIn post recently from a guy who said, oh no, I gave my resume to a fake job and now I think they've stolen my personally identifying information or whatever PII is. And I was like, what did you have on your resume that you think you've given away your PII? And I think it was his home address. Do you remember how when many of us were younger, you were supposed to put your full home address on your resume or CV? I took it off a very long time ago. You do not need to know where I live. Even the town that I've put on LinkedIn is not the town where I live. It's a nearby town because I don't need anybody to know my exact address. And it sounds like he was worried that people were going to take his name and his address and other information and piece together stuff. And I don't know, maybe they had asked him what his birthday was. And of course you start piecing together this stuff and it's not good. Yesterday in Gaming says, also it's analyzing word usage for successful candidates who've worked at big companies. Yeah. Data. Whoa, that's a steep rise. Vimeo wants to raise the price of my plan. Good thing I've canceled it. I'll have to check that it's canceled. Ooh, that's a reminder that I have a call coming up, so I can't stay to the top of the hour today. Wait, but you're not supposed to add the address or age or birth date or anything like that. Yeah, in the old days, we didn't have our birthdays on our resume, but very often we had our full home addresses. We had our phone numbers, and obviously our full legal names at times. I don't think I ever put my full legal name on my stuff, but obviously, if these people, sorry, my chair's broken and it's driving me a little wild. So obviously, if you are giving out your resume and giving people your name and your phone number and your address, and maybe that information wasn't totally public, they just need a few more pieces of information and they can try to make things messy for you. I have all of my credit bureaus frozen in America, so nobody should be able to get any credit in my name, like opening up a credit card in my name or taking out a loan in my name. So I should be pretty locked down, but I know not every country offers that. I don't think that exists here in Italy. So yeah, be very careful of what's on your resume or CV. And if companies are asking for photo ID and government IDs, that is a giant no. You don't need that. I can't think of any job I've ever had that needed a photo or government ID. Once hiring me, they've asked me my government identification number, but nobody asked me for a copy of a passport or driver's license or carta identità or anything like that. Ana Lucia says, I took my phone number off because I don't want scammers getting it. So for all of this year, I've been applying to jobs with a burner number, essentially a voice over IP fake number that I can shut off at any time. And let me tell you, that number has gotten 0 calls. 0 calls and 0 texts. I don't think in general that companies are calling people. I think we live in a very email world. Another scam to look out for is people who want to WhatsApp you. So look out for all of that. No professional company is going to WhatsApp you a job. That does not sound right. If I can just make that face a little bit. All right, let's talk about our schedule coming up because it is the holiday season, and I want to make sure people know when I'm streaming and see what your requests are. If there's anything special you'd like me to do or not do in the coming weeks to help support you. Saturday night, December 14, karaoke stream. That goes out live to my Twitch, secret Twitch channel and LinkedIn. So that is 8 p.m. Italy time, which should be 2 p.m. New York time. So if you'd like to be entertained, please join my karaoke streams. I do take requests. They cost you nothing. We'll do another show. This is every Wednesday, so I will be streaming next Wednesday for Life After Tech Chat. And, of course, karaoke, Saturday the 21st, usual time. Okay, so here's what's a little wacky, and I want your opinions on this. The week after that is Christmas, and then Hanukkah. Tuesday, the 24th, Christmas Eve, would be my Delta CX/CXCC Ask Me Anything. I'm not sure anybody's going to be hanging out asking questions about UX on Christmas Eve. I'm thinking about canceling that one. And then, of course, this show would be Christmas Day. 2 weeks from now? Christmas, y'all? 2 weeks from now? So I might cancel those, not because I'm busy. I'm happy to be there for you. But I think chances are nobody would tune in and we wouldn't have any questions. So I might cancel those if that's okay. I was thinking about some Christmas Day karaoke in case people wanted to be entertained. So let me know what you think about canceling the AMA streams and just running with some karaoke, which again is streamed to LinkedIn and Twitch. Please join on Twitch. Was anybody there last week when LinkedIn locked my account because I wrote hello in the chat of my own stream and they thought I was a spammer and creating artificial engagement. Can we please get off LinkedIn? Can y'all please join my Discord community and Blue Sky or something? You have a separate live show dedicated to UX and CX. Yes, for 5 years now. It's on Tuesdays. So basically, hey, everybody, go to cxcc.to/events. I think that's the URL. That's our events calendar. I've got all of my UX stuff. I've got all of my Life After Tech stuff. I've got the karaoke stuff. I'm putting everything in there. I am going to do a Life After Tech stream on New Year's Day because it'll fall on a Wednesday. And we're going to do a special exercise for goal setting for the year with a little bit of coaching hat on. Canceling, yes. Christmas karaoke, also yes. All right. I'll think about that then. I'll be hanging with family Christmas week, so as much fun as karaoke sounds, I'd likely miss it. That's okay. I put them up later on Vimeo, who wants to raise my price. So for now, they're on Vimeo, future unknown. Yeah, LinkedIn was very weird. I posted about it on Blue Sky. They locked me out of my account and changed my... well, they didn't change my password, but they acted like you're a spammer and you're creating artificial engagement by posting on your own stream. And it was like, I wrote hello. Like, no, that's not spam and that's not artificial engagement. Artificial engagement would be making a bunch of LinkedIn accounts, logging into my own stream and pretending there's lots of comments from people who aren't me. But I appealed it and they agreed with me. So at least I got that black mark off my record. But it would have been a black mark on my record because their warning said if we find that you're doing this again, we will restrict your account. I agree with Christmas week taking a break from the live AMA. Okay, I'll do that. But again, I'll probably do maybe a Christmas Day karaoke. Let me put that on my calendar. Just because why the hell not? And a New Year's Day exercise around some goal setting. And of course, all of these are always archived on the Your Life After Tech YouTube channel, which is YouTube @Your Life After Tech. So, oh good, people are joining the Life After Tech Discord while I'm talking. Thank you. So yeah, let's see how many people we've got now. 212. And yeah, some activity there and lots of people introducing themselves. So nice place to get to know people and find something in common. Oh, I forgot I have a call in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to have to run. Thanks to everybody. I will definitely see you hopefully Saturday for karaoke. That's on LinkedIn. And also let me put my secret Twitch channel on here. So my secret Twitch channel is the Apiary Studio. That's what I've called my home recording studio for over 10 years now. So that is where the karaoke is for now. I can imagine that name eventually changing possibly to our new karaoke business, which is pandamonio.party. I'm still working on the website, but it's pandamonio, like panda bear. So it's a little play on words in Italian. Pandamonio.party. So yeah. So I hope to see everybody at karaoke. Otherwise, I'll be back here next Wednesday, which is not Christmas, and we can keep talking about stuff. And other than that, please post and comment in our Discord community. It's completely free. I'd love for people to get more involved there. All right, I'm going to press the end the show button and get ready for my next call. And everybody have a great rest of your day and week until I see you again. Thanks. Bye.
It's whatever, and it's never. Is it better?